If you're a mortgage broker or a financial advisor and you want to get more leads from your own website, then there are basically three things that you need to do. First, you need to identify who your ideal client is. Secondly, you need to attract that kind of ideal client to your website. And then thirdly, you need to convert those website visitors into warm leads. My name's David Miles from the PPC Machine, and those three steps, identify, attract and convert, form the basis of everything I do, both with my private clients and with the members of my group coaching program, to help them get more leads and more clients from their own websites. If you'd like to learn how this system works and how to implement it into your own business, then stay tuned. Okay, so here we are with the third and final part of how to get more clients using my three-step framework. And to remind you, those three steps are: first we have to identify our ideal client, then we have to attract them to our website, and then we have to convert them from being a website visitor into being a lead. And it's that final step that we're going to look at in today's video. If you've missed the previous two about identify and attract, I suggest you go back and watch those first of all, and I'll put links to those in the description of this video. So the convert part of the framework is all about how do we turn more of our visitors into leads. And the thing is, before we can do that, we need to be in a position to actually measure how many of our visitors do convert into leads, and if they're not converting, at what point in the process are they falling by the wayside? Because as the saying goes, you can't improve what you don't measure. So how do you measure all this data about the people who visit your website and whether they do or don't turn into leads? Well, the simplest way to do it is to use a free tool provided by Google, and that's called Google Analytics. You may have it on your website already, but if not, the very first thing you should do is get it installed before you go any further on your digital marketing journey. So to get it installed, it's really quite easy. You go to analytics.google.com and you can create a free Google Analytics account. And then Google will give you a small piece of code which either you or your website designer can add to every page of your website. And if you're not sure how to do that, if you're a member of my group coaching program, there's courses in there on how to do that. If you're not a member of that, then if you go onto Google and search for how to install Google Analytics, I'm sure you will find something that will guide you through doing that. And then once you've installed Google Analytics, the bit that people often forget to do is to set up what's called goal tracking in Google Analytics. So this is basically when you tell Google Analytics what it is that someone has to do on your website to count as having turned into a lead. So typically that will be that they fill in an inquiry form and they end up on a page on your website that says thank you for your inquiry. You need to tell Google Analytics what that thank you page is, what the address of the page is, so as Google Analytics knows every time someone lands there, they've converted, and that way it can give you the information and the stats on who converts and who doesn't. If you want a bit more information about how to set up goals, I've got an article on my website about goal tracking analytics, and I'll put a link to that in the description of this video to help you out. So now we come to the most important component of improving that conversion rate, increasing the number of people who, once you've attracted them to your website, actually convert into inquiries and into leads. And that is the landing page. So the landing page is simply the page on your website, but you're going to drive people to using one of the attraction methods that we talked about in the last video. So that might be Google ads, might be Facebook ads, whatever. Wherever it is you're sending them, that's what we call your landing page. And there are a number of things you can do and should do on your landing page which will make it convert people more effectively from visitors into leads. In fact, I often say that if you follow the guidance I gave in my last video in the attract section of this framework, getting people to your website isn't actually that tricky. The far trickier part is how do we convert them. But if you follow some of the tips I'm going to give here, that conversion process will happen a lot more effectively. So one of the first things you need to do on your landing page is to minimize distractions. You want to keep people focused on the job in hand, which is ultimately to make an inquiry and turn into a lead. So a couple of things you can do about that are, firstly, it's generally a good idea to remove the menu bar from your landing page. Now, like a lot of the things I talk about here, that's not set in stone. All these things, you should test them and see whether you get a better result with or without a particular feature in place. But generally speaking, I find that removing the menu bar takes away a distraction and means people are more focused on actually filling in your inquiry form or reading the content of your page or phoning you up or whatever it is you want them to do. So definitely try removing the menu bar from your landing page as a way of reducing distractions. And the other thing is, keep your landing page focused on a single product or service. Normally, if you're using the kind of attract methods that we talked about in the last video, like Google Ads, you'll know what kind of product or service someone is interested in. If someone's typed into Google mortgages for people with bad credit, and they've clicked on an ad that's all about the mortgage help that you can give to people who've got credit problems, then you already know that A, they're interested in a mortgage, and B, they've got credit problems. So that should be what you talk about on the landing page that they are sent to. You don't want to go confusing the issue by talking about other things like life insurance or pensions or buy-to-let mortgages or whatever it might be. You want to keep it focused on the thing that you already know they are actually interested in. Then the second thing that can really help your landing page convert more people is your value proposition. Now, we talked about value propositions and what they are back in part 1 of this 3-part series in the section about identifying your ideal client. So if you missed that, do go back and watch that. But once you've created your value proposition, it's really important to have that clearly displayed at the top of your landing page, because that means when people come onto that page, they'll know straight away where they are, what they can do, and why they should stick around and get mortgage help from you rather than from anyone else. And obviously I say mortgage help there, but obviously the same applies with any aspect of financial advice. I'm just using mortgages as the example here. So on the screen there you can see an example value proposition. It says very clearly what's on offer, that they are a mortgage broker, and it's got a clear benefit there, a very specific benefit in this case, that by using them you can save an average of £290 a month on your mortgage. So that's something that will help differentiate them from other mortgage brokers. It gives people a reason to carry on reading the rest of what's on that page and gives them a reason to actually get in touch and submit an inquiry. Here's another example of a value proposition. This one is clearly aimed at a particular niche. So again, this goes hand in hand with the other thing I said in the identify section about the importance of having a niche. Makes it much easier to come up with a good value proposition if you know exactly what kind of client or potential client you're talking to. So in this example, the niche is clearly company director mortgages. There's clear benefits coming out in the value proposition that the client gets. Here they get to save time, save money and borrow more. And then it goes on to add further benefits, so they can get a same-day decision, they get 95% LTV, and then the final bit is very specific to the niche, is you can get the mortgage based on the company's profits, not just your own income. And of course, for that particular niche, that could really resonate very well with them. So that's why it's much easier to create powerful value propositions that will resonate with people if you've niched, because then you know the precise problems and pain points that that particular kind of person, when they're reading your website, is going to have. Next thing you need to do is to make sure that your landing page has a strong call to action. So what I mean by this is whatever it is you want people to do when they come onto your landing page, whether that's fill in an inquiry form, download a free guide, pick up the phone and call you, whatever it is, you need to make it really, really clear that's what you want them to do and really obvious how they go about doing it. So that means doing things like, for example, if you want them to click a button to fill in an inquiry form, then make that button really prominent. So there's some examples on screen there of good call to action buttons grabbed from various websites. And as you can see, they're all, they really stand out. They're not afraid to use bold colours. They've got strong, clear wording. It's very direct language, get a free quote, get started, all that kind of thing. And that's what you need to do, is have very clear calls to action on your website and repeat the call to action in multiple places on your landing page. So wherever someone is in their journey reading down your page, they're never far away from an opportunity to take that next step of getting in touch with you. Now, a very common call to action, as I said, is to get people to fill in an inquiry form. You can make your landing page convert better if you make your forms nice and easy and simple for people to read and to fill in. And if you make it clear why they should fill it in and what they get in return for doing so. So if you look at this example form here, for a start, it's really simple. It just asks for name, email and phone number. There's no confusing questions there at all. And the bit at the top of the form makes it clear the reason that they're going to fill it in and what will happen next. And then even the button that they click to submit their information has a nice positive message on it, start your mortgage search. So by doing all those kinds of things on your form, you'll increase the number of people who are able and willing to fill it in, and you'll therefore get more conversions. Now, forms are one way of getting someone to convert, but don't be afraid to offer multiple communication channels on your site, because some people will be quite happy filling in a form, but others would rather pick up the phone and ring you. Equally, there'll be some people who hate the idea of using the phone and they'd rather send you a WhatsApp message or do a web chat or send you a message on social media. So the more different options you can offer people, the more likely it is that they are going to take that desired action and make contact with you. Now, we said just now about having a really strong value proposition at the top of your landing page, but it's important that the rest of the words, the rest of the copy on your page is also well written and doing a good job of helping to convince people that they need to make contact with you. So a few things you can do around this are, first of all, make sure that your copy is focused on the reader, on your prospect. Because it's very common that you come to a website and you read stuff that's all we this, we that. You know, we at Joe Blogs Financial Services are experts in this. We were founded 20 years ago. We've got a team of 10 people. People don't want to know about you. What they want to know about is what you can do for them. So all the copy on your page should be focused on the prospect, on the reader. And following on from that, that copy that is prospect focused should talk about the pain points that your ideal client has. Again, something we talked about in the identify section of this framework. You should talk about their pain points because that's the stuff that shows that you understand the issues they have, that will really resonate with them. And you should then talk about the solutions that you can offer to address those particular pain points. So going back to my earlier example about mortgages for people with bad credit, if that were your niche and that were what your landing page was about, you should start off talking about the problems that people have getting a mortgage if they've got bad credit, why those problems happen, and then you move on to talking about the solutions that you've got which can address those particular problems and pain points. And throughout all of that, whatever it is you're writing about, keep it jargon free. Avoid using technical industry terms. Use the kind of language that the person in the street would use and that your potential client would use, because then the page will come across as easier to understand and friendlier and more approachable. And then all those things, of course, are going to make them more likely to convert from being a visitor into being a lead. Including social proof on your landing page is a really good idea. Now, by social proof, there's various things that fall under that heading, but we're talking about things like having reviews from past clients on the site. Ideally, those should be reviews which are pulled in from recognisable external sources like Google Reviews or Trustpilot or Vouched For or things like that, because they may look more genuine. You can also put lender logos on your site or product provider logos because those will be really recognisable. If you've got logos on there of people like Aviva or Santander or HSBC or Scottish Widows or whoever, those are the kind of logos that people will recognise. So you will gain credibility by association with those big brands, even if your own logo and your own brand is not as well known because you're only a small business. And as well as reviews, written reviews, if you can get video testimonials on there from past clients, then that's really, really powerful. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to get. Not all clients want to do videos, but a lot of the time, I bet you haven't even asked them. If you go and ask them, would they do a short video testimonial? It doesn't have to be difficult. You just ask for the client to whip their phone out, just record a short video, just talking to their phone, ping that over to you on WhatsApp or whatever. You've then got a video testimonial that can go on your landing page, and that will help reassure your prospective clients that you are a trustworthy and reliable person to deal with. And then my final tip for things you can do to convert more of those visitors is to employ email nurture. Now, we talked about lead magnets and email nurture in the last video where we were talking about how to attract people to your site. And I wanted to mention it again here because it's also something that you should bear in mind as a conversion tool, that if someone is on your landing page and they're not ready to make an inquiry yet, well, as a fallback, somewhere further down your page, you could offer them a chance to download your lead magnet instead. And then you get them onto your mailing list. You can send them follow-up emails, which means that they might convert further down the line. Also, even if someone does convert, if they fill in an inquiry form saying they want to speak to you about their mortgage or get financial advice or whatever, it does no harm at all on the thank you page to also offer them a lead magnet to download there, because then you can still get them onto your mailing list and do automated follow-up, because that way, if they don't respond to your initial callback, at least they're still on your email list and they can get those ongoing emails from you that remind them that you're there and help them get to know, like and trust you, so as they are more likely to return your call when you've left them a voicemail or reply to one of your emails asking if they still want an appointment with you or whatever. And just to end with, I wanted to show you a case study to prove that this kind of stuff really does work and makes a difference to how well you convert visitors into leads on your website or on your landing page. I did an experiment a while ago with one of my private clients where they had a landing page that had been designed and built before they started working with me, and we were running Google Ads traffic to that, and it was doing an okay job. If you look at the table on the slide there, you see there's two pages, original and new design, and the original page that they had was turning just over 13.5% of the visitors into leads, which is not bad. But I reckoned that by making some of the changes that I've talked about in this video, we could get that conversion rate higher. So rather than go and just change the page, I actually set up a new version of the landing page where I employed all the kinds of techniques that I've talked about in this video, and we ran an experiment where we sent half of their Google Ads traffic to the original page and half of their Google Ads traffic to the new design. And over a period of time, we measured the results, or actually we used a free tool from Google called Google Optimize to measure the results. And that found that, as I said, the original page was converting at just over 13.5%, but the new design, with all those things I've talked about today, that converted at 22.86%, so nearly 23%. So that's a massive improvement. That's nearly doubled the conversion rate, not from changing the Google Ads, not from changing the number of people being sent to the site, but just by changing some of those elements on the landing page to make it convert better. So I hope from that you can see the power of doing this kind of thing, and I hope you can see now how that three-step framework of identifying the ideal client, attracting them to your website, and then doing these things to convert more of them into leads really does work if you put the whole thing together. As I said before, if you'd like to find out more about how to implement this framework into your own business and you'd like some help from me to do it, then a really great way to get that is to check out the Predictable Pipeline program, which is my group coaching and training program for mortgage brokers and financial advisors who want to get more leads from their own websites and stop stressing about where their next inquiry is coming from and stop buying leads from lead generation companies. You get access to a whole library of online courses which will teach you all the things that I've talked about in these three videos and actually how to do those for yourself. We have regular group coaching calls and Q&A calls where you can come along and ask me questions about whatever's in the courses, show me stuff you're working on and get feedback and help from me and from the other members in some cases as well. You've got a support forum where you can get unlimited support. We've got ready-made tools and guides to help make all this process faster, and a community of other mortgage brokers and financial advisors, all of whom are willing to share their ideas and experiences with you as well. So if you want to know more about that, do check out predictablepipelineprogram.com or click the link in the video description. Thanks very much for watching this today. I hope you found it useful. If you have, please do me a favour and click the like button, give it a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the bell notification icon. That really helps me as well, and it helps you because you'll be the first to know when I bring out more videos like this. I'd love to know what you thought of what I've shared with you today and to answer any questions you've got, so do put those in the comments as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you soon.